Stingray blue. Motherfucking Corvette, I'm somebody. Like plow, 100% is a child, nothing but victory now. Like plow, 100% is a child, nothing but victory now. All in my lane, I'm driving a Corvette, it's Stingray blue. I don't complain, how much obtain, fuck the attention it's tended to.
Already before it started.
It's such a drain, load up the musket and blend it through. 100% is a child, nothing but victory now. Like plow, 100% is a child, nothing but victory now.
Let's get this party started, my good people.
All in my lane, I'm driving a Corvette, it's Stingray blue. I don't complain.
It's your boy, Will Rogers, aka Master Teacher 33. Let's get this party started. Now I want to break down, everybody, your level of truth is revealed by your level of freedom. What's going on, Brother Gregory? When we talk about the scripture in John 8, 30, 32, somewhere in there, it talks about the truth shall make you free. It's not going to ask. It's not going to recommend. The truth shall make you free. So you can tell if someone has truth, if someone has freedom. Now the freedom that it's talking about is mental freedom. We have a class that starts on July the 7th. And the reason why that class on the 7th is so important is because your level of freedom is an indication of your level of truth. Specifically, mental freedom. There's a lot of people that are mentally not free. And you can easily tell because there is a lack of mental disposition. They don't have the ability to, I'm going to use the word, overcome obstacles. So they don't have the ability to think outside of the box. So your level of freedom is determined by your level of truth. What's going on, Mr. Kiawaka? And the ability to understand how your level of freedom, mental freedom, is an indication of your level of truth. So this is how you can tell if you are literally walking in truth. If you have the truth or if you have King James Version. Because if you are walking in truth, not the truth that the world gives, but the truth that comes from the Most High, that level of truth, it reveals, it explains, it illuminates, and it simplifies itself. So you have this ability to have a freedom or a free mind. So freedom begins with freeing your mind. So you must free your mind in order for you to operate in truth. So truth frees your mind from all of the fears, the doubts, and unbelief. It literally expands your faculty or your perception of how the universe and how the world works. So when you are really walking in truth, not religion, truth, not religion, truth, not religion, you have something that very few people have. When you literally walk in truth, you realize that your freedom separates you or exposes this illusion of freedom or security. So when you really are walking in truth, it's easy to tell because you are able to see the forest and the trees. See, the truth will make you free. It doesn't ask. That's what it talks about. And let me pull it up. And I think I want to say it's John, if I remember correctly. John chapter 8. Let's put it up. Yeah, John 8 verse 2 says, John 8:32, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now, a lot of people say that they have the truth, but then they don't have freedom. What is freedom? Well, freedom is awareness. So awareness, perception, the ability to perceive, that's freedom. That's truth. So truth gives you this awareness. Truth gives you consciousness. Truth gives you perception. Truth gives you the ability to perceive, the ability to see the forest and the trees. That's how you know You have truth because you have freedom of mind. So you have this ability to understand that if you are bound, if you don't have the ability to think outside of the box, if you're suffering from anxiety, if you're suffering from fear, if you're suffering from strife, that's how you know you don't have freedom. So when you walk in fear, that's the number one sign that you have religion, but you don't have freedom. You don't have truth. The truth will make you free. So to be free, you must be able to create your own system. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to write your own script, what we talk about every day. We go deeper into understanding that the truth that everybody claims that they have is not truth. Because if it was truth, you would be free. You would be mentally free. If your religion really was the truth instead of a truth. Remember, there's many layers of truth. We're talking about the supreme truth. We're talking about what is called in the ancient text the pleroma, the peru. We're talking about what I call, science and spirit, or quantum, which is spiritual mechanics. So spiritual mechanics is what we call quantum mechanics or quantum physics. So spiritual or celestial mechanics and celestial or spiritual mechanics is really truth. It's qubit science. We're going to be breaking that down in detail starting on July the 7th. Again, the price right now, and the price increases as you continue to go through, or as we get closer and closer to July the 7th. Right now it's $149. Tomorrow it goes to $249, $349, $449 until we get to $449 or $499. And so the price goes up every day. So the sooner you get in, obviously the less expensive it is. Now, in order for you to understand why this is so important, why is this so important? Well, the ultimate game of life is what? Freedom. Everybody wants freedom, but everybody's definition of freedom is different. So my definition of freedom is a mental disposition that allows me to think outside of the box. It allows me to overcome obstacles. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability, again, to have options, but to have unlimited options except you choose and you collapse one. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to think in a way, what's going on, God is short of the West? Freedom is a way for you to operate in a mental disposition where you never ever try to put a round peg in a square hole. If you're talking and people are not listening, stop talking. You got to go to another demographics. It's very important that you don't try to force someone to be free. When you are free, you understand the value of freedom. And so your job is to model the behavior. It's not my job to try to force you to write your own script. There are a lot of people who do not want to be free. They say with their lips they want to be free, but it's a lot easier to have someone else think for you than it is for you to think for yourself. In fact, the hardest thing on earth to do is to think for yourself. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it. So remember, I'm not talking about something I read off a book. It's very difficult to take 100% responsibility for your own life, for your own success. It's a lot easier to put the keys to your happiness in somebody else's pocket. If you put the keys to your happiness in your own pocket, it's your responsibility to generate, operate, and direct. It's a lot easier to depend upon the government to pay your bills. It's a lot easier to depend upon the government. It's a lot easier to get you a sugar daddy or a sugar mama. It's a lot easier to put your responsibility onto some other frequency with a vibration. Freedom begins with freeing your mind. You must free your mind. Earlier today, we talked about that you must establish a mental state, and then you must maintain that mental state. That mental state is freedom. It's a choice. Most people's mental state is established by something outside of themselves. It's not determined by something inside. It's not a decision. See, in order for you to be free, you have to let go of your fears. You have to let go of your doubts. You have to let go of your unbelief. So you must realize that even though it's harder to be free, it's safer. That means that if it is to be, it's up to me. I must establish my own system. That's what I did. That's why I have a life. All the stuff you see around me, those are all expressions of my cistern or my system. So your job is to get out of this illusion of freedom and to take your power back. Because this Luciferian system is an illusion. Although it's a very, very comfortable, it's a very convincing, some would even say very pleasant. But at the end of the day, you know you're not free. You know you're not able to establish your own freedom. So freedom means that you're literally able to take your unique attributes and characteristics, look at your life experiences, look at your desire in it, and take the knowledge out of your head and put it into a step-by-step system that benefits other people more than it benefits yourself. That's freedom. Because that system allows you to generate, operate, and direct. But you got to be able to do what? Well, you got to be able to get attention. Then you got to be able to add value. And then you got to be able to make an offer that provides support. Those are the three keys to success. So the number one thing that you got to do is you got to take the knowledge out of your head and put it into a product, service, or information. But we got a conundrum. There's a thought in your head that says what? Well, that thought in your head says, nobody's going to pay me for what I know. Let's say you're a very good basket weaver and you don't have awareness of the power of basket weaving. That's why you're not promoting it. Not you personally, but people you know. So what are you saying? Well, everything starts with a proper self-image, like we talk about on every show. So the number one key for you to be successful is for you to see your own worth and your own value. So most people can't see the forest because it has trees. So we promote somebody else's system. We take a job. We depend upon the government because it's a lot easier to depend upon someone outside of yourself than it is to see your own worth and value in yourself. That's just the way that it is. So the number one thing that we got to do is to understand that you can tell how much truth a person has by how much freedom they actually have. Let me say that again. You can tell how much truth a person has by how much freedom, financial freedom, health freedom, relationship freedom, wisdom freedom. You can tell how much truth, because the truth will set you free. If you're not free, you have no truth. I'm not talking about this love and hip hop type freedom either. Freedom means that you have the ability to see. Freedom means awareness, because awareness is power. Because knowing is the same thing as believing. Belief is what you bring about. Where you are at right now is the sum total of your beliefs. If you believe that there is a lack, then you will experience lack. Your level of truth should take you to a space where all your needs are met according to source codes, riches, and glory. Meaning, if it is to be, it's up to me. Right now, everything in your life is a match. You are the vibrational equivalent for wherever you are right now. So now the next question is, if you really, really walk in truth, why are you not experiencing freedom? Think about that for a moment. So, the best gurus, we'll put it that way, they're able to manifest the greatest amount of freedom, not because they have the best knowledge, but they have the best awareness of the self. So your job is just to know set the sum, to know your own attributes and characteristics. That's your job. That's freedom. Freedom is self-awareness. I know what I'm good at, which is my ability to creatively communicate using my imagination. I'm a researchologist. I know my lane. I get in my lane. I stay in my lane. So my lane allows me to experience financial gain. If I get outside of my lane, I don't experience financial gain. And so it's very interesting because you got to have a desire that's based upon your design. So when I'm talking about freedom, the more you use your mind, your will, your emotions, your imagination, your intellect, that's called the soul, the more freedom that you will possess. Freedom is the result of taking your spirit and let it occupy your mind, will, emotion, imagination, and intellect so that it can control your behavior. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to step outside of yourself when you are operating in a space where what's going on in your head hasn't manifested in your life. Most people believe the illusion. This world that we live in, as we're going to be breaking down on July the 7th, make sure that you join me. Right now it's only $149. Tomorrow it goes up to $249. And then $349. And then $449. So the sooner you get in, the better. We're going to be going through 10 different books. Here's a few of the books that we're going to be going through during that series, because I put freedom inside of these systems that I call books. Your job is, maybe you are an artist, so you will put truth, your truth, inside of art. Maybe you are like Sister Kiwata. She's a great chef, and she has, flavor is essential. So she's putting her truth inside of what we call seasonings. This is my system. So on July the 7th, we'll be going through this system. I took the knowledge out of my head and I put it into a step-by-step process that benefits other people more or the same that it benefits me. That's a system. Your job is to do exactly the same. So on July the 7th, we're going to be going through this system that I've set up. And I put this system because I battled with something called a lack of a proper self-image. So when I meet somebody that don't have freedom, now everybody claims they got the truth. Is there anybody on this call that don't think that they have the truth? Everybody I talk to, they got the truth. And they right. And everybody else is wrong. Okay, if you got the truth, according to the Bible, you got freedom. Because the truth, it don't ask you to be free, it makes you free. It just slaps you around and say, Negro, you free. So are you free? Okay, you got to define freedom. The ultimate goal in life is freedom. What is freedom? Freedom is sitting at home in your underwear and getting paid. Freedom. Freedom is taking your knowledge based upon your life experiences and sharing that with the world and helping other people. That's freedom. Freedom is being able to pay your light bill on time. That's freedom. Freedom is being able to be in a relationship with your God, with yourself, and with others, whether they like you or not. That's freedom. Freedom means external demonstration does not override internal revelation. That's freedom. Freedom is a mental disposition that says, I wish a Negro would. That's freedom. Freedom means you walk through the valley of shadow and death and you fear no evil. That's freedom. Freedom means greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. That's freedom. Freedom is the over, and understanding that God wishes to do exceedingly, abundantly above anything that you can ask or think. That's freedom. How many Negroes you know got freedom? I know a lot of Negroes that got verbiage. They got a form of freedom, godliness, but they have no power. So now we got to ask, what is power? Well, power is the Greek word exousia. That's power. So exousia means choice, options. Like my boy Kevin Samuels used to say, a high-value Negro is a Negro with options. So my question to you, my brother, my question to you, my beautiful sister, do you have any options? Now, options has nothing to do with materialism. It has to do with the mentality. So mentally, when you feel that you are painted into a corner, you have a lack of options. So when you have freedom, that means that you're going to go over, you're going to go under, you're going to go around, or you're going to go through. That's freedom. So we're going to be going through like my book CSF, my book Being God, my book Enochim, my book Genie in the Jeans. Now we're not going to go through this one. I don't know why I got this one in. We're going to touch on this a little bit. The standard, this is the foundation. The number one issue on the planet is this. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 4. Satan, Lucifer, the frequency that controls this planet, the God of this world, he transformed himself into an angel of light. And he's transformed his demons into ministers of righteousness. So unfortunately, whatever religion you got, you know what you got. But you can't tell Negroes that. Then we got to break it down. Then we got to break down I am too human. Because it tells you in the Bible the things you want to do, you can't do. The flesh wars against the spirit wars against the flesh. These two are contrary to one another. It says that in the book. So we got to understand what that means though. Then this is going to put a lot of time in this one. The Bible says there's none righteous, no not one. We all are deceived. How? The Bible calls that form of chaos. Then we're going to talk about the Luciferian system. That's based upon the serpentine Ophiuchus system, the 13th zodiac sign. And then we're going to wrap it up with the key. So that starts on July the 7th. That's a system. Now that's just one. Behind me on the wall, all of those are systems from the past that I've done. And once I create that system once, I get paid on it for the rest of my life. So that's what I teach everybody else to do. I teach everybody else to set up systems. What's up, Brother James? How you going, my brother? It's been a while, man. And it's extremely important that we understand out of the 300 books that I've written. 300. Now we got artificial intelligence out. Now anybody can write a book in 5 minutes. It's crazy. You have no excuse. So I teach people every day how to set up their own system. This is just a few of my 300 books. And we're going to be going through these books so that way the knowledge that I've accumulated on the 60 years I've been on this planet, I get to share with you because it works for me. And why does it work? Because the number one purpose of everything that I do is based upon the Dear Canary report. You see, brothers and sisters, people perish for a lack of knowledge of themselves, not anyone else. So if you're listening to me today, the number one issue that you probably have is a lack of a proper self-image. Once you see yourself, you don't want to be anyone else. The only issue that I had, and when I talk to people every day, everybody pretty much has the same issue. We all suffer from the same thing, a lack of self-esteem. Your network is determined by your self-worth. How you see yourself is how you be yourself. So the question is, how do you see yourself? Now, I pretty much already know the answer to that question, myself included. I have a very high positive self-image, but I'm just like you. Bad things happen to me like they happen to you. And when those bad things happen to me, I'm just like you. I get affected. So the question is, how long do you stay down when you get knocked down? And the next question is, what knocks you down? Who knocks you down? Can I go on your Facebook page and make a negative post about you and ruin your day? How easy is it for you to get off track? And then how easy or how difficult is it for you to get back on track after somebody comes and knocks you down? How fast can you get back up? What is your current state of mind? And more importantly, how do you change your current state of mind? That's freedom. Freedom is the ability to maintain a positive state of mind in the midst of toxic shame. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to choose your own script. Right here is a few of the scripts that I've written. So I do not leave my life up to the dominant culture or anyone else for that matter. Everything that I do in my life is predestined. I've aligned my mind with my God-given design. And so that's what I teach all my clients. That's what I teach you. That's what I recommend for you. What does that mean? I recommend that you align your mind with your God-given design. That just simply means that God has designed and gifted you, and I teach the same thing pretty much every day, every show. God has given you everything that you need for life and godliness. So where is it? If God has given you everything that you need for life and godliness, where is it? That gets into the definition of what we're talking about tonight, freedom. Freedom begins with freeing your mind. Y'all remember that song, Free Your Mind? The rest will follow. So the question is, how do you free your mind? Our minds are entangled by our patterns. Patterns are belief systems. Who gave you your belief system? Who told you you were you? Who told you that you were on earth? Who told you your definition of happy? Who gave you that definition? Your definition of sad? Who told you that when a loved one transitions, you are supposed to grieve? Who told you that? Who told you that you can only be happy if something outside of you that's positive happens? How come you don't just wake up and choose to be happy? How come you don't make a conscious decision to be healthy? How come you just don't decide that you are wise and then pursue? The moment that you make a decision to be something, the universe sends you the step-by-step process to implement something. So how come you haven't made a decision to be rich? Well, you don't believe you deserve to be rich. You don't believe you deserve to be rich. That's the only reason that you haven't already chosen. The only reason that you haven't chosen to be healthy is that you don't really believe that being healthy is an option for you. You really don't. You haven't really stopped and thought about it and made a conscious decision to be healthy. Because the moment that you make a conscious decision to be blank, the universe will send you the instructions by which to fulfill blank. That's freedom. Freedom means that you made up your mind. See, the universe only responds to a made-up mind. So if your mind is not made up, the universe is not going to reward you. The universe is not going to respond to you. Source only recognizes source. God only recognizes other gods. God don't recognize peasant. God don't speak peasant. He speaks priest. She speaks priest. So if you are Podunk, Texas, good luck with that. Because source is a high vibration. It's a frequency that's based upon what you frequently see. So what you current, money is current. It's currency. Out of my belly flows rivers of living water. That's what you call money. But money is not paper. Money is a mental disposition. So whose job is it to establish and maintain your brain? Who? Is it the government? Is it the white man? Is it the black man? Is your wife? Is your husband? Is it your little Syrians? Is it your pets? Is it your neighbor? Whose job is it? Well, should be yours. So brothers and sisters, in conclusion, let me make sure you understand the magnitude of what we just briefly discussed tonight. Because the problem, situation, the solution, remember, all problems contain the solution. The solution to every problem is actually inside of the problem. Because problems are products in disguise. So everybody's problem is actually their solution. But most of us don't understand freedom. So when I talk about freedom, I'm talking about a mental disposition. This mental disposition is so powerful that it allows you to operate in a space where you are able to achieve the ultimate goal that everybody on earth unknowingly wants. Everybody wants to be in a space where they can write their own ticket. Regardless of what anybody say. I talk to people every day, and people say a lot of good things, a lot of good stuff. Free will is it. In order for you to be free, your mind must be free. Your mind can't be free if you bog down with a lot of problems. What are problems? Problems is just you're at a place where you don't want to be. That's a problem. A problem is when you got more bills than money. That's a problem. A problem is the distance between point A and point B. So let's say the distance between point A and point B is very small. You got a very small problem. Example, you weigh 200 pounds and you want to drop down to 195 pounds. Well, that's 5 pounds. So how hard is it to lose 5 pounds? Not very hard. But let's say you weigh 200 pounds and your goal is to be 150. Well, it's a little bit harder to lose 50 pounds. Let's say you're a boxer and you got a big payday coming up, but you have to make weight. So the weight class that you're boxing in, let's say 150, you're 200, you have 1 week to drop 50 pounds. That could be a problem. But what if you got 1 week to drop 5 pounds? That's not a problem. So a problem is the distance between where you are and where you want to be. So my question to you is, if you have the truth, like you claim you do, I mean not you personally, but people you know, if you got the truth will make you free. It doesn't ask you. Because truth means you have access. See, truth has nothing to do with having the solutions in your head. Truth is the ability to connect with God, source, and download the solution to whatever problem you got. That's freedom. Freedom is access, not possession. Freedom is management, not ownership. You see, we don't bring nothing into this world. We don't take nothing out. So your possessions, you don't take with you. So having a bunch of possessions, having a bunch of money, having good health, having a bunch of, women or men, that's not freedom. Freedom is not capitalism. Freedom is not consumption. We live in a culture, in a world of consumption. That ain't freedom. Freedom has nothing to do with consuming a bunch of stuff. Freedom has nothing to do with buying a bunch of stuff and owning a bunch of stuff. Freedom is really discernment. Freedom is perception. Freedom is the ability to see the field. Freedom, real freedom, is the ability to know if you're getting conned. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability to read energy before it shows up. You should be able to look at somebody's image and discern whether that person is of God or not. That's freedom. See, freedom is this ability to oscillate and vibrate above the fray. That's freedom. Freedom means you're like an eagle. Eagles, they don't fly through the storm. Eagles don't fly below the storm. Eagles fly above the storm. That's freedom. So freedom is this ability for you to be able to over and understand whatever blockage. So freedom means that your mind is free from the fields or the fears and the doubts and unbelief. Freedom is the faculty of perception about how the world works. Freedom is the understanding of universal spiritual law. That is freedom. Freedom is understanding universal spiritual laws. That's freedom. See, you have to realize that it is safer to acquire freedom than it is to stay in the illusion of fear, doubt, and unbelief. Your job is to make sure that you are able to offer solutions to be in a have state. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to offer solutions to people that need them. That's freedom. Freedom is the ability for you to be in a place where you feel safe and secure. That's freedom. And that all comes from awareness. So your ability to use your mind, your will, your emotion, your imagination, and your intellect to establish this ability to over and understand that freedom is a choice. Freedom is a choice that you make because you've already determined in your mind before your problem shows up, you're going to shine. That's freedom. See, I've predetermined already that no matter what comes up, no matter what happens, no matter what comes my way, I'm going to figure it out. That's freedom. Freedom is a mental disposition that is made up way before the issue shows up. Freedom is a mindset that says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. All who rise up against me shall fall. That's freedom. Freedom is not knowing how, but knowing what. Freedom means that you're living in the desired end. Freedom means that you're in a have state. You understand what Neville Goddard called the have principle. That's freedom. To him that have, more shall be given. Bam, that's freedom. Freedom means I have wealth. I have health. I have wisdom. I have a great relationship. That's freedom. Freedom has nothing to do with external demonstration. Freedom is internal revelation. Freedom has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. Freedom has nothing to do with the reverend, the doctors, and the bishops. Freedom has nothing to do with the government. Freedom has nothing to do with politics. Freedom has nothing to do with religion. Freedom has to do with a mental disposition that's based upon your God-given destiny. Your name, your date of birth, your blood type, your place of birth, that gives you certain attributes and characteristics. You understand yourself so well you don't want to be anyone else. That, my brother, that, my sister, is freedom. If you're listening to me today and you do not have your Dear Canoe report, if you're listening to me today, and if you do not have your physical copy of your Dear Canoe report, we sell for $4.99. If you're listening to me today and you don't have this, we're going to make this just for the people who are listening live right now. If you don't have the physical copy, if you would like your physical copy, that's about, it's usually, I would just charge you the shipping and handling, which depends, as long as you're in the United States, 50 states, not including Hawaii and Puerto Rico, you can get your physical copy for $49 for anybody that's listening live. If you do not have your PDF copy of your Dear Canoe report, that sells for $499. Today, only $149 for anyone that's listening that would like to receive their copy of their Destiny report or their Dear Canoe report. Because everything starts with establishing a proper self-image. How you see yourself, that's how you beat yourself. Your job is to make sure that you see yourself the way God has. What's up, Brother Brandon? I ain't see you sneaking in, my brother. Your job is to see yourself. Hey, Brother Brandon, it's good hanging out with you, man. Down when we went to saw you in Freeport, my brother. Me and the family had a great time, man. Again, mad respect, Brother Brandon. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time, man, to drive us around the island, man. We had a great time, brother. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. So, brothers and sisters, once again, get your Dear Canoe report if you don't already have it. If you got it, make sure you get your physical copy. Again, only $49. That covers the shipping and handling. Also, July the 7th, we'll be going through these books, 10 books. I will be sharing with you something that's extremely important. That is the Pythagoras dialectic, which is this angelic, this book basically, this fallen, celestial, fallen spiritual system that is called cubit science, which is based upon the cube or Saturn or Satan. The whole world, just like I have in this book. We'll be going through it. The Bible says, Satan, that old dragon who has deceived the whole world. He transformed himself into an angel of light. Transformed his demons into ministers of righteousness. So on July the 7th, we're going to break down and make sure everybody understands that math, music, and language that we're using right now, what we're doing right now, is Luciferian. And this is done with the intent to override this bent light system, which is this angelic language that is used to control the DNA. So we'll be going through these 10 books starting on July the 7th. So make sure you join us. For more information, it's posted all over Facebook. Just go to my event page and you can sign up there. All right, brothers and sisters, as always, man, it's always an honor, a privilege to be able to break bread with you guys. I thank God for you, man. Appreciate you. Y'all already know. I'm going to leave y'all with, this is my son's DJ.
Stingray Blue.
Kendrick. Dropping some knowledge, a little Stingray Blue. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to see y'all next time. God bless.
Yeah. All in my lane, I'm driving a Corvette, it's Stingray Blue. I don't complain, I must obtain, fuck the attention it's tended to. So fuck up the lanes, they such a drain, load up the musket and flint it through. 100% is a child, nothing but victory now. Like, pow, 100% is a child, nothing but victory now. All in my lane, I'm driving a Corvette, it's Stingray Blue. I don't complain, I must obtain, fuck the attention it's tended to. So fuck up the lanes, they such a drain, load up the musket and flint it through. Wow, keeping your bitch so aroused, when I pull up she need chow. I'm never taking it down, I got my wife and my child, they trying to lay up with your cow. You better get rain on your heifer before I send all my niggas to bless her, she whore. No disrespect, she trying to get next, 100%, she do it for check. Yeah, just wanna cruise on the street with my Stingray, don't want the hype or the fame or the fake love. Came from the bottom and gradually came game up. You niggas and bitches is nothing but made up. I feel like made up, you pussy the scheme. Anonymous, autonomous. They ain't no straight up for fuck with me. Decapitate. We chopping it up in the kitchen on a mission. Moving independent, fuck it, I do it myself. What's an aim to a god? Apocalypse with a pyramid. Something quite Olympian. Hercules. And your girl is it for me. I love them all like Sanji. Floating high like palm tree. Love the flintlock. Got the drip drop. Pure sauce, but never lost. Like an ink block. Call me Rorschach. You a bum, I'm a boss. Attack of the avaricious. I get vicious when there's lanes in my lane. Must obtain each and everything. Zero bucks flowing in these veins. Yeah. All in my lane. I'm driving a Corvette, Stingray blue. I don't complain. I must obtain. Fuck the attention it's tended to. So fuck up the lane. Face us a drain. Load up the musket and flint it through. How? 100% is a child. Nothing but victory now. Like plow. 100% is a child. Nothing but victory now. All in my lane, I'm driving a Corvette.
Alright, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in.
I must obtain.
I'll catch y'all next time.
So fuck up the lane, face up the drain.
Appreciate you, brother.